What if doing nothing is the most productive thing you could do today? I know those two words just don't align in your brain because you've been taught to fear boredom, to fill every second of your life with noise or content or productivity. You feel that if you're not doing anything, something's wrong. But neuroscience says the opposite. Boredom is your brain's reset button. When you stop stimulating it 24/7, you actually enter your most creative and visionary state. So, if you've been feeling uninspired lately, the cure isn't doing more, it's doing nothing, and today you're gonna master that art. If you're an ambitious person who likes to keep up with the world, you know that the one thing everybody is fascinated by is the word called innovation. When new ideas, curious ideas, and a new concept is brought forth by people, and whether it's in the field of science or academia, or whether it's an interesting business that really solves a big problem, all of us want to be innovative. All of us want to come up with something or the other that is not only unique but also usable so that our work can serve people. And if you think about it, all the people who have become the world's most successful entrepreneurs, well, they have been innovative, whose ideas have truly transformed the way we live today. But guess what? It's through those very ideas like social media and internet and constant connectivity that the rate of the innovation that we're seeing is kind of going down and down and down. That while we have AI and a million other startups along with it, all those startups are just the same thing wrapped in another cloth. But that's not innovation. That's just repetition. And what you want as a person who's really looking for long-term success in their career is an ability to come up with better ideas, to come up with new ideas and to execute on them. But guess what? To make that happen, you need to feel bored. That's right. And my most interesting encounter with boredom happened when I was 12 years old. I was sitting in my school's computer lab. We had some session there, but somehow the teacher had to miss it. So all of us kids got 1 whole hour free to just sit on the computer and play video games. Now that's a 12-year-old kid's dream scenario. But I did something different. I had this notebook by my side. Of course, now I have a different one. It's been 6 years. And I had a pen with me. And instead of just logging in on the computer and playing games like everyone else, I opened up the back page of that notebook. And with this pen, I started writing some of my thoughts. And in that moment, all my friends were looking around at me and thinking, what the hell is he doing? We've got this free period, let's just make the best of it. Let's play the video games that all of us have access to here. But I didn't choose to do that because in the back of my mind, there was an idea going on about boredom. I was just a 12-year-old kid back then, but I just started writing my blog. So as I was thinking about it, the very first version of a blog post that I posted on November 26, 2019 was written in the back pages of that notebook. Till date, I remember that because that lab, that boring moment, all of those things were the most uncreative place ever. But because I chose to just sit there for 5 minutes and do nothing, an idea came to me that sparked inspiration in me. I started writing profusely on the back of that page. Then there was the lunch break. I skipped my lunch that day just to get that idea down. Imagine that. 5 minutes of nothing and I was at my most creative state. And I've always found it that whenever I somehow end up making a mistake or I somehow end up going down that cycle of overconsumption, things don't work out for me. My creativity goes down, my ideas go down. I'm not able to express myself that well. So that is why, although there's a lot of neuroscience backed perspective on why boredom is important, I'm telling you from my personal experience. This confidence that you see, the clarity and the articulation that you hear from me is not by luck or by fluke. It's been a conscious decision that I've made ever since I was young, ever since I was a 12-year-old kid, where I ended up choosing boredom over any and all distractions that were available to me. And those tiny but pivotal moments have made me into the creative author that I am, the speaker that I am, the coach and the trainer that I am. And just like that, You can be the same in your field, whatever you're doing. But the question is, are you willing to embrace boredom for that? And by the way, it's not just me saying this. One of the most creative people in the world, somebody who's led a company that revolutionized everything, said this about boredom. That person is Steve Jobs, and here's what he said. I'm a big believer in boredom. Boredom allows one to indulge in curiosity, and out of curiosity comes everything. I made sure to read that out word by word to you. That's why I was looking at my laptop screen, but really taking the essence of that. When we allow nothing to exist, we can create everything from that. And isn't that magical? Honestly, it is. But to create that magic in your life, you have to allow that space to emerge, to create products that people love, to succeed as an entrepreneur, to even succeed as an artist and express yourself well. You need that space, you need that creativity. And before this goes into a discussion only about, innovating and art and stuff like that, even if you're a scientist, even if you're an extremely logical person in the work that you do, tell me if you haven't experienced this, that when you're programming something and you encounter a bug on your screen, you have no idea what went wrong in the code, you're frustrated. You take a break for 5 minutes, you do nothing, you come back and instantly you can spot where the problem was. Now, where's that coming from? Again, it's coming from the neuroscience of boredom, which says very clearly, when you allow your brain to rest, it lets go of its constantly hyper-vigilant state. Because when you're thinking, your brain is using a lot of energy. So when you're moving your body is using the energy that is created through food. Just like that, when you're thinking a lot and when you're constantly stimulating your mind with new information, new ideas, new concepts, new visuals, new sounds, and everything that the modern world has to offer, well, guess what? Your mind is like a body that's constantly moving 24/7. And if it doesn't get rest, your body is going to crash. And just like that, if your brain doesn't get rest, it is going to crash. It's not going to be able to come up with the kind of innovative thinking and problem solving that you want. And in a world that's moving forward, in a world that's increasing and improving every single day, those are the skills that you need to succeed, where you can be innovative and you can solve problems really quickly. But unlike your logical common sense that says, oh, for that I need to be hyper vigilant about everything in the world. No. All you have to do is allow yourself some time to just be bored. Let your mind wander. Let it just sit there and explore its own bounds of creativity. Let those new ideas come up and just sit there with yourself. The more you do that, the more patiently you do that, the more calmly you do that, the more you will succeed. The more new ideas will come to you, and the closer you will get to your goals. Because if there's one thing that all innovations have in common, it's that they were made in silence. That while they were built out publicly, they weren't built on just the feedback that people gave. And Henry Ford has captured this in a wonderful and witty statement where he said, if I had asked people for what they wanted, they would have said a faster horse. Now, of course, a faster horse can't exist, but because he was willing to work in silence to really figure out how to make a car economical, he made that. But that creativity, that innovation and all of that came when he allowed himself that space. Back then it was much easier. Today as well it is, if you give yourself that choice. So here are two simple ways that you can start embracing this boredom in your life and start doing nothing so that you can do everything and be your most creative. The first step is the easiest to implement. For the first hour of your day, do not look at your phone. Just do whatever you want. Write something in your journal, do your exercise, do your meditation, maybe even read a book, but do not allow the world to just come at you because you've just woken up. Your brain waves are still trying to come to a fully awakened state, and if you don't allow yourself some time and grace there, well then the moment you start your day, your brain's going into the overstressed and overworked mode. And if that's the energy you're going in with, well then how can you be creative? How can you let the best ideas emerge? So if you want that, embrace this. In that 1 hour, nothing big is going to happen in the world that you need to know of instantly. So you can give that grace to yourself, you can give that time to yourself. Personally, this is a rule that has helped me so much, because I've seen no matter what time I wake up, if it's at 4 a.m. or even if it's at 8 a.m., just by following this stuff, following this one rule, my creativity, my ideas and my energy is at the highest in just the first hour of the day. You will experience the same. So allow yourself that grace, allow yourself that time, and make this rule that for the first hour of the day, I'm not going to let the world come to me. I'm going to let myself come to me, and I'm going to give myself that space. And when you do, you'll be able to implement step number 2. And that is, allow yourself to just sit there for some time in the day doing nothing. Maybe it's a 5 minutes break. Maybe it's when you're taking a walk. Instead of plugging in your headphones and listening to music, maybe just do nothing in that walk. Just walk, look at your surroundings, be in the moment, and that's it. Maybe when you're cooking food or when you're eating your dinner the next time, instead of putting a podcast along with it, just enjoy the food. I know your mind is thinking, but then how can I be more productive? How can I manage and crunch all this time? But can I tell you the truth? You don't need to be more productive. When you allow yourself to slow down in moments like these, the 4 hours that you spend in work will be equal to 8 hours worth of work if you do this right. If you ensure that your mind gets the space and the time to really be present and let its best ideas emerge. Because honestly, even when we are in that passive state, where we're just eating the food and thinking nothing, or where we're just taking a walk, listening to nothing, our mind is still working. But instead of dealing with new information, it's processing what's already there. And in that processing, in that understanding, in that regurgitation, it can understand, it can make sense of ideas. And the best part is, the neurons start connecting, new interconnections start happening, and that's where your creativity and innovation comes in. So 2 simple steps. Start your day with no phone at all, no outside interruption for just the first hour, and then give yourself 5 minutes or tiny nuggets of time where you just do nothing. I personally follow this practice in a lot of different ways, and it has really taken my creativity to the next level. And I'd love to hear from you. What are the fields that you want to be more creative in, and how do you think these ideas will help you? Start by inspiring yourself and giving yourself a reason to follow through with this. So write that in the comments, and that will inspire me as well, and maybe give me a new idea and inspire other people. So as we're building a community of achievers here, let's help each other out by sharing our thoughts in the comments below. And I promise I'll read all of them. Even if I'm not able to reply to all of them, I will read them and I will acknowledge your presence, because I value your time and your attention. Thank you for spending this part of your weekend with me. I'm looking forward to meeting you next week and helping you grow further.